All right, ladies and gents, welcome to the Beach Advanced Audio here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. We are in Studio B. I am your host, Mike Williams, and you are listening to The Sound House. Today on The Sound House, we have a very important guest. We have Peter LaMarr, Director of Music and Production Services at Bimini Music, also a composer, musician, vocal teacher, producer. The list goes on. Peter, how are you today?
I'm excellent, Michael. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I was really looking forward to doing this interview
me
a while ago.
Yeah, me too. This is I was really looking forward to
But
this.
we're always
so busy.
So busy.
So busy.
So just to kind of dabble into the life of Peter LaMarr, you've worked and performed and hung out with a lot of icons in the industry over the years, such as Stevie Wonder, James Brown, Prince, Eric Clapton, Ringo Starr. We went over this before the show started, and the list was just epic.
Long. I've been very, very, very lucky. Very blessed. I was touring with a group over in Britain, and just happened, and I met a lot of nice people, made a lot of friends over there, and some of these friends inadvertently introduced me to a lot of the people that you mentioned. I met Stevie Wonder in a pizza restaurant.
No way.
Yeah. My friend Ciro, his name is Ciro Orsini. He owns a chain of little hole-in-the-wall pizza places called Pizza Pomodoro. And this particular one is located in Knightsbridge in London. And it's down the stairs. I think it might be a little bit bigger than this room that we're sitting in right now.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
And what was really cool about this room is that Chiro's been in business like for the last 35, 40 years.
Right.
He's got restaurants, these type of restaurants all over the world.
What city was this in again? You said this is in where?
Well, this is in London, England.
Okay, yeah.
And on the walls, the pillars, the tables, he has laminated pictures of every person in show business that he's met, which is everyone. There's nobody that's left out. He's met every president, excluding Obama. He's introduced me to Sylvester Stallone, Steven Tyler from Aerosmith, Axl Rose, Eric Roberts, the friggin' entire cast of Karate Kid. And these are and Madonna goes to his restaurant, and in his menus he's got listings of the pizzas that he does and whose favorite pizza.
That's cool.
That is very cool.
That's super cool.
It's very cool, and he's the nicest guy that you ever want to meet. I'm like, what were you in trouble that you got to meet the president? That like all of them. I mean, he's met Reagan, Ford, Bush.
That's got to be some good pizza, man.
Well, it is. It is actually really, really good pizza. So he was a big hand in introducing me to a lot of people like that.
Cool. Right on. You're originally from Brooklyn, right?
Right.
How long did you live there for? Like
my family was living in Brooklyn. My father was working for General Motors.
Okay.
We were living in Brooklyn, but he was working in Detroit, so he would commute home.
Take it easy in the equipment.
Yeah.
Peter likes to talk with his hands and that.
Yeah, I know. Oops. No, he would commute every weekend.
Okay.
So we were visiting him in Detroit. My mom was pregnant with me and my twin brother. We were born in Detroit, but we grew up in Brooklyn.
Okay, cool. So Brooklyn's home then.
Yeah, and I lived there till I was about 13 or 14. My dad decided he got tired of commuting, and he just moved the family to Detroit. So,
is that a long commute? Like how long of a drive is it from?
2 hours.
Oh wow.
Less than here to Edmonton.
Half his day spent just driving then.
Yeah, well, not really. It's only a 2-hour drive.
Right, but 2 hours there and 2 hours back.
Yeah, 2 hours there too. Yeah, well, for him when he's commuting, 2 hours there, 2 hours back. Wow. But on the move, it's like maybe.
Oh yeah. Move is easy. It's one direction,
way.
one stop.
Way. Yeah, for us it was one way. So.
Right on. So yeah, like you just said, you've went to Chicago. You went to school in Chicago University.
Yeah, I went to Northwestern University up in Evanston.
And like you said, you worked in London and other cities like Vancouver, obviously Calgary.
Yeah.
All across Canada, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right on. Is that kind of the role that a person like you would take on, like just traveling around the world trying to grasp at any aspect of
No,
the industry, or was this a choice?
No. This was because I was performing with bands.
Okay.
I was touring with whatever band I happened to be with at the time. When I was in England, I was touring with a group called the Drifters.
Yeah, are they what you're most known for, is the Drifters? Or?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I was with them for 17 years. I was commuting from Calgary to London. Right. So I was working there. I was living here.
Okay.
So I would come home every 10 months.
Oh wow.
And like I'd go from January to August, take the month of August off, fly back in the first week of September, stay there until maybe the day before Christmas Eve, fly home, spend Christmas, New Year's, and then fly back just after the New Year, and do it all over again.
So what was the role that you played in the Drifters?
I was a drifter. I was
singer, bass player.
No, I was one of the singers. I was one of the 4 drifters. Wow. I had to wear the suits and do the cheesy steps and everything.
Well, music just ain't the same anymore.
No, it's not. Thank God.
I don't know, man.
No, I
think I was born in the wrong era, to be honest.
I think. Well, I don't know if I was born too early or too late. I think I was born a little bit too. Actually, I was born just at the right time because I came in right at the right. Just when music was.
Call it what it is, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You lived through the decades of musical changes, like more than I have for sure.
Yeah.
But like it's some iconic changes in the industry and in the world too. Just to be a part of that scene.
I saw the rise and fall of Motown. I saw
that in itself is an iconic story, right?
Oh yeah, and when that was like a staple in music,
right?
Motown, and then when it went down, it was just like, okay, what's going to happen now? And there were a lot of other companies that popped up. They were trying to do the same thing or be the same kind of iconic entity.
Right.
Some tried, almost got there, but it never really quite caught on. Again.
So where did music start for you then? Like what's your earliest memory of you realizing, this is what I want to do. I want to be a part of this.
I was 4 years old.
4 years old?
Yeah. I always loved to sing.
Yeah.
And I oddly enough, the first record or the first song that I ever heard, I was 4 years old, I was listening to the radio. And it was a song by the Drifters called Under the Boardwalk. And that song just went right through me. I went, well, because I'd never heard anything like that before. Before it was all like 50s doo-wop or rockabilly, that kind of stuff that was on the radio. So it was really nothing that stood out. Nothing that was head and shoulders above the rest.
Okay.
The vocalist on that song, Under the Boardwalk, his name was Johnny Moore. I had the pleasure of being in the Drifters with him, and he told me the story of that song. He was not originally supposed to be the lead singer.
Oh, okay.
His best friend, his name was Rudy Lewis.
Okay.
Died of a drug overdose the night before.
Right.
And they said, well, you have to sing the song, and he didn't want to do it. And they say if you listen closely, really, really closely, you can hear Johnny crying during a part of the song. And he was such a consummate professional that he just barreled right through it and you couldn't tell.
Wow.
And even when we did the show live, when we did the song live, you could tell he would get choked up by it. He and Rudy Lewis were really close.
Crazy.
Really, really close. And I think Johnny was a little upset that Rudy went out the way he did. Because, Johnny didn't smoke. He barely drank.
Wow.
He didn't do anything. He had I think his vices were Kentucky Fried Chicken and USA Today. that was it. So it was that was his thing. That's where I started to think that music was gonna rule my life.
Yeah.
And then my dad heard me singing, and he says, "Okay, yeah, this is what you're gonna do."
Oh wow! So you had lots of support, family support.
Oh yeah,
cool.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You got a big family too, right? Like you're a twin, 2 sets of twins, right?
Yeah, huge. Yeah, man. I think my parents are starting to start a baseball team or a football team or something, man. I'm like, as like Dad, 9 kids? I said, why would you and Mom decide these? Hey, I had a good night. It was like, okay.
My goodness. So, what kind of influence and inspirations helped you like get your way through the industry? Like, what were the people that really kind of took you under their wing? Or
Well, my parents.
did anybody?
My parents.
Yeah.
My mother was a singer. My dad played saxophone, and he sang. And they, because my dad also worked at General Motors, and he saw, he was a backup singer or a backup sax player, excuse me, for Junior Walker and the All-Stars.
Right.
So he knew what it took to because Motown was really strict back then with their artists. My mother did 3 years of background singing for Aretha Franklin.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So, again, and like these are people that I grew up with coming to my house, and I'm God rest her soul, Aretha Franklin. I used to think she was just a mean woman for coming to and I would ask my mother, how come she's always over here? Doesn't she have a home?
This is Aretha Franklin you're talking about, man.
I didn't know. I was a kid, and she thought I apologized to her so many years.
I bet. Man.
I did. I apologized. I said I was a real brat. She said, yeah, you were, but she said I loved you. I'm like, yeah. She said, yeah, because you thought I was evil. I said, no, you were taking my mom away.
Yeah.
So and that's how little kids think.
Well, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, but anyway, these are the people that I grew up seeing. Because, like, in the neighborhood we lived in Detroit, it was nothing. It was nothing to see Diana Ross or Marvin Gaye walking down the street.
What?
They all lived in this. They all went to the same high school.
Wow.
Northwestern High School in Detroit. It wasn't far from where I lived.
That's crazy.
And it was nothing to see these people. Just like if you go to L.A. now and walk down the street, it would be nothing to see somebody famous walk, because you're in their neighborhood. That's where they live. So it's like, okay, it wasn't a big deal.
Wow.
It wasn't a big deal.
I do not handle celebrities well. I get
sometimes neither do I.
Very starstruck, and I get very fanboyish, right?
Listen, when I met Stevie Wonder, good thing he's blind. 'Cause he would have really thought something was wrong with me.
So over the years, you've touched down and had your hands in a bunch of different projects, not just your own performances with the Drifters, but like helping other artists and helping other people.
Right.
Like we have conversations every day about things you've done with other people and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the performances or projects that really stood out for you? Like even to this day, you look back and you say, like, I'm super proud of that, or that really set the bar higher for me.
Well, performances, pretty much every one that I've done since I became an adult were great.
Yeah.
I did some great. I was a part of some great performances when I was in Los Angeles. The one I'm most proud of, the one I am ultimately most proud of, is we were invited to do a performance by a gentleman by the name of Gary Brooker. Gary Brooker was the keyboard player and singer for a band called Procol Harum. He wrote Whiter Shade of Pale.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And his wife, Frankie, has a cancer charity that she's a part of. So we had befriended Gary, and he had invited us to hang out with him and do some things, like some, evening events, and we became really good friends, and there was nothing that he didn't want to do where the Drifters weren't involved. So he invited us to do this show called Wintershall. Wintershall is actually someone's home. It's I don't know the man's name. I've never met him, but he's got more money than God. His house, Wintershall, is bigger than Buckingham Palace.
What?
He has his own lake. He has his own forest. He built this huge stage, and he put lights in the forest to shine. It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life.
How do you even get on the list of people to go to a function like that?
Because Gary Brooker is neighbors with all of these people.
Oh my God.
These are his neighbors. So we ended up doing a show with Eric Clapton, Ringo Starr, Roger Taylor from Queen, Paul Carrick.
Oh, this is that show.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me about this.
Yeah. Mike Rutherford from Genesis.
Right.
Peter Gabriel showed up. What? Paul Rogers, Phil Collins, and just a host of these British musicians. And I was sitting there talking to this woman. We had gotten there. They had flown us in by helicopter, which I really didn't appreciate because I don't like helicopters. And I said, but hey, you know what? I'll deal with it because I know where I'm going.
I think that's a small price to pay.
I knew where I was going, so I kept my mouth shut.
Right.
We got there, and I'm sitting on a flight case, and I'm looking. I'm maybe 3 feet past you.
Right.
I'm looking at Eric Clapton playing Stormy Monday, doing a blues solo, and my mouth was open, and this woman sits next to me. And she's rubbing my back. She's, oh, we're really so happy to see you. Really beautiful, beautiful blonde woman. I'm like, I don't know who you are, but I'm glad you're sitting next to me because you are just amazingly beautiful. And I'm looking at her and I'm thinking, I've seen you somewhere before.
Oh, probably.
And I'm looking at her, I'm like, oh my God, I know who you are. You're Barbara Bach. Barbara Bach was a Bond girl. She was in The Man, the Man with the Golden Gun.
No way.
She was the Bond girl in Man with the Golden Gun. She had turned Hollywood on its ear. How she had brown hair at the time.
Right.
That's why I didn't recognize her. Oh. So I'm like, why are you not acting? We miss you. We love you.
Right.
Because she was just drop dead gorgeous.
Right.
And she says, well, no, I retired because my job now is to take care of him. And like him. And I'm thinking, Eric? No. And she points to somebody behind me. Just as I'm about to turn around, this hand is on my shoulder.
Oh, man.
And I look down and he's got all these rings on. And I'm like,
this is not going to be good.
It was Ringo Starr.
Shut up. Really?
She's married to Ringo Starr.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
I had no
idea.
And
he says, I'm so happy to see you. I'm thinking, okay, wait a minute.
You had me mistaken for somebody else.
I don't do drugs and I don't drink. Have we met? So I'm like, I go, oh my God. The first thing that hit my mind was a Beatle.
Yeah.
That was, and I said, Mr. Starr. And he looks at me and says, oh no, that's my father. I'm Ringo. I'm like, oh. He's going to let me call him Ringo. And I inadvertently, I'm sorry, Brooklyn jumped out of me. I inadvertently elbowed his wife. He's going to let me call him Ringo.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, you probably left a long-lasting impression.
Yeah, man. I just didn't, I was not a good fan.
So here's a question for you. Do you feel, this is kind of a tough question. Do you feel that the connections you've made and where you've driven yourself in the industry over the years, has that been like chance or due to like your hard work, dedication, stuff like that, or a mixture of both? What do you feel like that's more?
I don't believe in chance.
Yeah?
I don't believe in chance.
Well, what's your life philosophy in regards to that then?
I believe that
it's a finicky industry to really get your start in.
The music industry is an industry that, quite honestly, doesn't like anybody.
No, that's
unless you have something to contribute.
Right. Right.
Now, by saying that, by contributing, what I mean is all of these people that we look to be icons, legends, so on, whatever adjective you want to put behind the name, they got there because of hard work.
Right.
It's hard work.
Yeah, man.
That gets you there.
For sure.
I put in the work. I went through to tell you the truth, I went through a lot of crap.
So they're not all glory stories.
Oh, no. There's no such thing as an overnight success.
Right.
There's no such thing as the perfect ending.
Right. The cookie cutter career.
No, you go through crap. Every musician who's made it, and which is why most of them have issues. Every musician who's made it, who's got to that level of success that we all aspire to get to,
right?
Somewhere in their background, they went through a river of shit.
Right.
Can I say that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they
Shit, goddamn.
Yeah, they went through. They had to wade through. Some of them had to swim through.
Right.
But they had to go through it. And some are worse than others. But at the end of the day, hard work and your diligence, your desire, it's deep desire that causes you to work hard.
Right.
It's your hard work that will get you the things you desire.
Right, right.
So it's a symbiotic relationship in that respect. There's no such thing as chance. You can be in the right place at the right time.
Right.
But if you don't take advantage of being in that right place, nothing's going to happen for you.
So definitely it seems like the guidance you've got from your parents and from the family support and meeting, moguls in the industry and stuff like that, it's definitely given you the right perception of the industry and what it takes to get to that point. Do you feel like that kind of helped you
absolutely
differentiate yourself from the average musician, the average person trying to make it or break it in the industry?
Well, okay, when you say average, what do you, I mean?
Well, I mean, like,
we're all average. There's nobody perfect.
No, there's nobody perfect. But
we're all, you're how average or how much you excel, it all depends on how hard you work.
That's true.
So the thing is, we are victims of our own failure.
Okay.
You don't make it in the industry if you don't want to.
Right.
There's no such word as can't.
Okay.
Can't means won't.
Exactly. I feel the same way. I totally feel the same way.
So, I mean, in that respect, if you say, well, can you do, oh, no, I can't do that. I'm like, well, that means you don't want to do it.
Okay.
And those are the people that you have to get away from.
So how do you feel like, that it factor that people have, certain people have just that star quality?
Yeah.
How do you put them in the same category as a person like with no musical training, taught themselves how to play guitar, no vocal training, but really wants that to be their career? They want to be a musician.
Well, then it depends on deep desire.
Right.
How bad do you want it?
So the fairy tale, movie story of that person with the it quality found it diamond in the rough, that's hard to come by for real life in the industry.
It's a fairy tale.
Right.
It's a fairy tale.
But it's interesting how many people think that though, because they can.
Because that's what the media, that's what's portrayed.
Right.
That's what's portrayed.
Right.
You can get this if you look like this, if you sound like this, if you act like this.
Right.
How many times have you seen it happen? Where, I mean, and this is why you have the so-called one-hit wonders.
Right. Yeah.
They got the it factor, and then they'll go out and do, but they can't deliver.
Right.
There's something about them that, well, no, you're not going to make it, and you did get lucky with this one particular song.
Yeah.
But, and then, at the same time, the industry, because of the economy and the way things are, I mean, the industry, a lot of industry people are going for that young look. You got to be, if you're older than 18, you're over the hill.
Yeah, it seems like the industry never goes over the age of 25.
Well, that's because they want to get as much out of them as they can.
Right.
But at the same time, it's a double-edged sword, because they'll throw money at some of these younger performers.
Right.
And without knowing, especially if they're between 18 and 25, because now you're an adult. You really don't need the guidance of your parents.
Right.
You can do whatever you want to do.
Right.
And sure enough, there will be somebody in the industry that will say, oh, well, I think you can do it. I just think you should give it a shot. Go for it.
Right.
And they'll go, yeah. And then while they're saying that, they're putting money down on the table. This is what I got here. Here's $25,000. Just, go out and have some fun.
So what do you think this does for the content that's collected over the years of one-hit wonders and people just basically in and out the same door of the industry?
Some of them take the money and run.
Yeah.
Some of them, if it's a really good hit, like, okay, for instance, I'll give you an example. You remember a song?
When Peter laughs before he tells a story, it's going to be a good one for sure.
You remember that song? Some of you may not remember. You might remember. It was a song called "Boom Boom Boom, Let's Go Back to My Room." It was done in it was done in the late '80s.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
And what It was the cheesiest, most god awful song I ever heard. It was played on the radio every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
They flooded the airwaves with this song. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go back to my room. And these guys came and went.
Yeah.
Gone. They took the money and ran. They made a lot of money off that song. That one song. I cannot tell you the name of the band because I don't know.
Right. Do you think that there's like there's a lucrative career in there for one hit wonders? Like if somebody could just drop a one hit wonder in multiple genres and have it hit and have it go well, do you think somebody can make a career out of that?
No.
No.
Unless you got 100 people. You have 100 people who you know are going to be one hit wonders.
Yeah.
It's a luck of the draw. It's like throwing darts at a balloon that with a fan on it. You know, you don't know which way it's going,
right?
And you got to try and hit it.
I got you.
And it's like, nah, I don't. Unless you have 100 or 250 one-hit wonders that you know for sure are going to sell,
right?
And they're going to go over the top. But then again, you don't really need that many. All you need is one song.
Yeah.
Just one song will do it for you.
That's totally right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's focus more locally here.
Mm-hmm.
Like you've been in Calgary for a long time.
Long time.
Come and go, but now you're kind of more stable here.
Well, I'm home.
Home.
I was living here, but I was just working somewhere else.
Right,
yeah.
Right. So with Calgary, like we said before, you're part of Bimini. You're running that side of the things down here at the Beach Advanced Audio. We've sat down and talked business and talked work before.
Right.
What's your goal with the Bimini side of things, and what are you looking for here in Calgary?
Well, quite honestly, what I'm looking for, there's talent. There's a lot of talent in Calgary, and we at Bimini would like to start. We'd like to start. I'm looking for the right word. We'd like to prove that Vancouver and Toronto aren't the centers of the universe.
As far as the industry goes.
As far as the industry goes.
As far as Canada goes, it's pretty much.
Well, I don't know. I don't know because it seems that people from Vancouver are now coming here. So, so hey, but no. What we'd like to do at Bimini is we'd like to basically get some viable entertainers that can compete on that international market.
Right.
Entertainers and musicians, bands, singers, whatever, that call Calgary home, but can go out and represent not only themselves, but Calgary, Alberta, and Canada as well, as a whole.
Okay, so just so we know that you're not just sitting at a desk and console with artists all day, you're actually gigging, you're out doing shows still. You're not, you definitely didn't put that part of your industry criteria aside, right?
I couldn't.
I know, right? I'd go nuts. So being that person who's still, elbow deep in the local scene, how do you find the talent is here in Calgary? Do you find that we have a sustainable pool of genres and musicians and stuff like that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's kind of untapped, I think.
There's a whole well of untapped talent here. The problem is there's a negative attitude that permeates throughout the industry in Calgary. The attitude is what I like to call small town. Why would anybody want to come to Calgary? What are you doing in Calgary? Why would you want to live here? Yada yada, that kind of thing. And I want to dispel all of that. Because at the end of the day, you got to live somewhere. People used to talk about Kim Coates, the actor from Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
And I've seen him.
I've seen him in a million things.
In a million things.
Yeah.
The guy's from Saskatoon.
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody says, "What are you doing in Saskatoon?
Right.
Why are you here?"
Right.
He doesn't live in L.A. He still lives in Saskatoon.
Yeah.
Shannon Tweed still has family roots in Saskatoon.
Yeah.
Joni Mitchell just did a thing in Saskatoon. I mean, come on, there's a lot of, if you got that kind of talent in Saskatoon, why would you think that it's not here in Calgary?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just silly. So we want to change that attitude. We want to get people to come down to the beach. I want to get people to change their attitude about the beach. People are under the impression that it is that we charge a cover charge to come in here, number one. I'm like, no, it's like...
Well, let's explain to people what the beach is. In your words, what is the beach for you? Like, what is... like
For me?
Yeah.
Oh, man. For me, since I've been in Calgary, which I've been here since 19...
I mean, you've been in more studios. You've probably forgotten more studios than I'll ever work in.
Yeah, and
right?
the thing is, okay, I'll give you an example. I've been to EMI Studios in London, where the Beatles recorded Abbey Road.
Right.
I would much rather be here. And that's an iconic studio. It's a lot of history in that studio. Mm-hmm. I would much rather be here. It was great being there and seeing all the stuff that they have from back in the day that they still use.
Well, if you create that kind of sound, I mean, like, why fix it if it ain't broken?
Yeah, but I would much rather be here.
You'd much rather be here at the beach.
Not only is this equipment state of the art, but there's an atmosphere here where it's comfortable.
Yeah, it's
relaxed.
Yeah,
it's positive.
Yeah,
that's what I love. I've been coming to the beach sound since '88.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. It's when I first met Lanny, and I've been coming here, and this is my home away from home.
Yeah, I've only been a part of the beach family for about a year now, and it's been absolutely surreal to even bring clients. I'll have clients that are kind of down on their work, or they're just, I don't think I should do this. I'm not confident. I walk them in these doors, and you're right. It's the energy. It's the atmosphere down here.
That's right.
It completely changes a person.
That's right.
And it almost empowers you to be creative, to be more artistic. It's amazing down here. Yeah.
Absolutely. And a lot of people are thinking that even the rates of the studio rates here are just so ridiculously expensive that nobody can afford to come here.
Right.
That's totally not true.
No, it's not true at all.
And these are coming from people that have never set foot in the door.
Wow.
And I mean, that's how rumors start.
For sure.
One person says, "Oh, well, I heard this. Well, where'd you hear it from? Did you hear it from a person who was there?" No, I know a guy who knew a guy who used to play with a guy who knows a guy who's married to a girl whose husband used to know a guy that worked there. I'm like, holy, okay. Well,
Definitely, the beach is an untapped service down here in Calgary for artists and musicians.
Absolutely.
Entertainers, like you said, entertainers of all walk of life. I mean, voiceover work, sound for video games, post-production sound. Everything happens down here at the beach. So we encourage anybody to come down and check it out.
I will say this. The number of people that I've walked through on the tour here, they are expecting... See, people have a preconceived notion about the beach, that it's just a recording studio. But when they see 3.5, 4 recording studios in one building, they see a sound stage with a green screen.
Right.
They see writers' rooms, and they get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
This is an overwhelming building. I will admit
absolutely,
that.
Yeah.
It's and it's very, it's like, okay, I don't know if I have the chops to work in this building. Of course you do. Yeah. Everybody does.
Everybody does. And everybody needs to start someplace.
We make it comfortable for people to come here. It's a relaxed environment.
So in regards to Bimini, now just so people know, like, the beach is the main studio. Bimini is the label that is a part of the studio that Lanny Williamson created, and he's put you at the forefront of that. With that part of the studio, there's definitely I'm not going to say specific style or specific kind of artist or entertainer that you'd want to invest in, but there is a certain group, right? So what is a worthwhile client for you to invest your time into? Because again, for someone like you to do production, writing and engineering and recording with some of these artists that you work with, you're not just taking anybody who's walking through the door.
Well,
is there a certain caliber of person that you look for that you're like, I can invest in you, I can see you going someplace in the industry, or are you willing to give everybody their first stepping stone?
I'm willing to do, and I'm willing to help whoever has the desire to get there.
Right.
You have to be hungry.
Yeah.
If you don't want it, then you're not going to work for it.
That's true.
I'm looking for those musicians who are willing to work for it.
Okay.
They'll do whatever they need to do. They'll learn whatever they need to learn to get where they want to be.
All right.
And we can only show them the door.
Right.
They just like the guy in the Matrix. I can get you to the door, but you have to open it and walk through. You know, it's entirely up to you. We will help anybody who wants to get to make themselves that much better and excel. If you see yourself performing, everybody has these visions of themselves performing on a big stage with, you know, in front of thousands and thousands of people.
For sure.
As an entertainer, we all have those fantasies. I still have those fantasies.
Yeah.
But if you don't have those fantasies, then you're shortcutting yourself. If you rather stay home and play for your friends, your family, and that's all you want, that's fine. Okay. Then there's, you know, you don't need us.
Right.
But for those musicians who want the brass ring, you, first and foremost, you have to work for it. Nobody is entitled to anything. You know, we don't give away anything.
Right.
We help you get what you need because we help you work for it.
It's a mutual investment, mutual partnership, right?
Exactly right.
For sure. Okay, so being someone who has seen the changes in the industry and where it's gone and you know, things that have left and things that have gone, you can kind of, I'm not going to say predict, you know, what's new and what's hot for the industry, but what do you think? What do you think is going to be the next big sound?
Wow.
You know, like we could talk about hip hop between 98 and 2018 and, you know, go on for hours of the changes and stuff like that, right?
There's been tons of changes.
And will that be the next big, you know, the next genre to really hit it big?
Well, I see, as a genre, hip hop has hit it big.
Yeah.
But if you go by what is happening in the industry, you have a certain select group of hip hop artists that are trying to change what hip hop is. And then you have the quote unquote old school artists who despise where it's going because they don't feel it's really hip hop.
We've had this conversation so many times.
Exactly.
It's crazy, right? Because it's like I said this to you a couple weeks ago when we were talking about doing the show, and it's like, you look at hip hop now, like I'm almost 40, and I was a teenager in the 90s, or 1990 to 99. I went from junior high into high school and everything else, right? Through the best years of my life, I spent watching hip hop come out, and it was great music, and we all followed the mainstream artists and stuff like that, no problem. But looking back to what hip hop actually was in the 90s and the political stand it was,
yeah.
And then and you know, of course, gangster rap was a huge part of what hip hop was in the 90s. But again, like, it was, in my opinion, it was kind of overlooked as for how important it was to the people who were preaching what they needed to preach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I can see where the old school guys now sit in regards to the new school sound and stuff like that, because it's not like that. They don't have something to preach about. They don't have something to fight for.
No, because everything's been done for them. Right now,
Mic drop.
Yeah, the hip hop now, or the so-called hip hop now, is all internal. It's me, my. Whereas it was more social with the older hip hop guys. Now, one guy that I do like is and I forgot his name. Childish Gambino.
Oh yeah, Donald Glover, absolutely.
Love him.
I followed him for years.
Love that guy. He's got his finger on the pulse.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's definitely that conscious hip hop where it's entertaining and it reaches to a wide variety of audience. But if you look deep into what he's saying and what he's doing,
absolutely,
it is unreal.
And even if you go to other genres, like nobody talks about the changes in rock.
True.
But then again, the new rockers aren't trying to really change what the old rockers have done. They're trying to take what the old rockers did and enhance it. They're not really going to surpass it because there's nobody out there that's really that good.
It's routine music, rock and roll. You know what I mean? Like it's one direction.
Right.
And then you get all these subgenres broken off. It's stoner rock, metal rock,
exactly,
whatever, right?
Exactly. But the basis is still the same.
Exactly. Hip hop does not have that.
No. And then when you go to rock to pop, or adult contemporary. Well, that's not really going to change because the older generation, the baby boomers, still want to hear what they grew up with.
Yeah,
they want to hear the songs that when they met their wives or their girlfriends, or when their first child was born, or something like that. Stuff that means something to them.
Absolutely.
And I, it's that much is not going to change. Even R&B and funk, it's kind of watered down. It's like the new. Well, there's not really any. It's all either
pop influence,
neo soul, what they're calling neo soul, which is basically slowed down old school soul.
Wow.
In my opinion, it's just 68 beats a minute.
So do you think that like the music industry is, because like I have an opinion on movies, and the reason why you're getting a lot of remakes and reboots and stuff like that is because there's nothing new out there.
Right.
All the main topics have been done. Everything's been said and done a million times. Blah blah blah.
That's
blah.
right.
Every story is the same story, no matter which characters you change and how you tell it.
That's right.
Do you think the music industry is the same way, that like it's faced this moment where there's really no new things to come out because all these genres have been created, and it's this huge hodgepodge now of different small groups of people and musicians and stuff?
Yeah, I don't know if there can be new music. I mean, there'll be new songs.
Yeah.
But new music, like a new genre of music, it would have to be something that was really special.
Yeah.
And could really catch on. But then again, how different could it be? Because you still have to use the same instrumentation.
Right.
I don't think you'll be able to create new sounds. You'll be able to manipulate the sounds. But I don't know. That's something it's really, really hard to say.
Yeah. And again, like that's a question I've asked people a million times, and they all pretty much have the same answer. Right?
Yeah.
It's at first you want to be like, yes, this is going to be the next big thing, and then you start thinking about it and you start rolling over all the options and everything that the industry has had done to it.
Right.
And everything it's accomplished so far, in regards to all the way from, blues, to, punk rock, to heavy metal, to black metal, death metal.
Yeah.
Metal in itself has some amazing genres. With the local talent here in Calgary, we talked about it, we touched on it a little bit here, and before we close off the show here, what do you want to say to them? Here's your chance, here's your pedestal to talk to the masses. What kind of guidance would you present to them? Everybody turn up the volume. Guidance?
I don't know if I could actually guide anyone. I can give them my opinion. I can only pass on what I was taught and what was shown to me. And that is that whatever you do, musically, lyrically, performance-wise, honestly, express yourself.
Yeah.
I think that is what's missing in a lot of music. A lot of musicians are too busy trying to sound like someone else or sound like the people that have influenced them. Which is, if you can do that, fine. I'm influenced by Stevie Wonder. People, you sound like Stevie Wonder. No, I don't. I don't want to sound like Stevie Wonder.
Right.
It'd be great to be able to sing like him.
Yeah. Right.
But the world doesn't need another Stevie Wonder. We already have a fully functional Stevie Wonder.
So in a world of like amazing artists and celebrities and icons in the industry, like how do you differentiate yourself? Because you're going to have these people that sound just like all these people.
And that's where the work comes in.
All right.
You have to work at figuring out, this is where you honestly express yourself to do what it is that you do. Find out what you do. And you're going to make mistakes. You're going to do some things that you think sound like crap. And what you don't like, you throw away.
So how do you keep the naysayers out of your head? We're not farting. Those are the chairs. I swear. People are going to be listening to this like, Jesus, those guys, what are they doing tonight?
The naysayers, wow. everybody's going to have an opinion about what you do.
Right.
And everybody is going to tell you what they think you ought to be doing. Oh, you ought to do this, and you'd sound great if you did this. But again, you have to treat it like a fan.
Right.
This is what a fan would say to you.
Right.
And I hate to say it like this, but a lot of musicians, their worst enemy are their friends and their relatives.
Right.
Because your friends and your relatives love you. They will tell you what they think you should be doing. They will tell you all the things that they love about you, and nothing bad will come out of their mouths.
Right.
But if you sound bad, they'll spare your feelings, and they won't say, no, it's okay. You'll be fine. No, you won't be fine, because if you don't fix the mistakes now, you'll have them when you get there, and that will be the roadblock that will stop you from getting where you want to go.
So you think it's good to have that kind of tough love in the industry? Kind of guide you through it?
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with constructive criticism, as long as it's constructive, not destructive.
Right, exactly. I think people have a hard time differentiating.
That's right.
Between the two.
And people are too sensitive nowadays.
Yeah.
For all the younger artists coming up, please don't forget this. I'm about to tell you something. Please don't forget this. The music industry doesn't like anybody.
It is true, and it has to be that way.
Yeah.
It has to be that way, because if it liked everybody,
then everybody would make it.
Right. Everybody would have a guitar. Everybody would be trying to play music.
Everybody would make it.
And nobody would have jobs.
But the music industry as a whole does not like anybody unless you have something to contribute. Contribute is the underlying word.
All right.
Underlining word.
The word of the day today will be contribute.
If you have nothing to contribute to the music industry, then you're not working hard enough. I'm not going to say you're not going to make it. I'm just saying you're not working hard enough if you have nothing to contribute.
Right. Time to pull up your socks and see what you're made of.
There you go.
All right. So what's in the future for Peter and Bimini Music? I mean, we've talked about so many projects. We've talked about so many projects off microphone and ideas and stuff. What are you really looking for to cater to the local talent here in Calgary? I
would love to meet and produce or write for some singers, some really, really good singers. That's what I'm looking for. There are people in Calgary who sing, but not really, really good singers. There are some good singers out there, but they're hidden. So if you sing, if you feel that that's what you'd love to do, that's your desire, male, female, I don't care who you are, please get in touch with us here, because we'd love to hear you. Maybe there's something we can do for you.
Absolutely. There's always something we can do for anybody.
Yeah.
Again, no project is too small. No project is too minor of an undertaking for us to at least sit down and talk to you about it.
There was one young lady that came in. I met her through another girl that I used to work with, and when I asked her, I said, well, "What do you want to do?" She says, "Well, I just want to be heard." That is deep desire.
Yeah, absolutely.
She doesn't care what she has to do, but she just wants to be heard.
Right.
Which means she's willing to do whatever it takes. And that's what we're looking for.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hey, that makes sense. That totally makes sense.
Yeah.
So if people want to get a hold of you, Peter, what is the best way they can get a hold of you?
They can get a hold of me through email. Peter@thebeachaudio.com. That's Peter@thebeachaudio.com. That's my radio voice. Right. I've always wanted to use that. You know what?
As the months have gone on and the more I've gotten to know you,
I'm a goof, I know.
But it's so much fun having you on microphone because you're not afraid of the microphone. You know what I mean? No. So many people are. They're too worried to get up close to it and do something a little bit more fun.
I've had one in my face since I was 4.
Right? So it's party.
It's
right?
almost like an appendage.
All right.
They can reach me at the beach, Peter@thebeachaudio.com. The number here at the beach is 403-237-6367, or excuse me, 6267. 237-6267. Area code 403. That's the number here at the beach. And come on down. We'll give you a tour. Or if you just want to sit and talk and find out what your options are, we'll be happy to do that too. The Bimini Music does do consulting, and we do artist development. We will help you get to where you need to be.
All right.
No.
Sounds great, man. Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
And it's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Absolutely.
Bring the kids.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
I'm just totally tongue-tied right now.
No, this was fun.
Talking too much makes me tired. So one of the things we do down here at the beach, we do a lot of live off-the-floor recordings and stuff like that, and we're always looking for more artists to come in, and we find it's the best bang for your buck as far as getting a bunch of songs done on a demo. And coming through the studio and being able to experience the energy and the people and everything down here. So we're going to close the show off before I say thank you to everybody with the Buck Dandies. They came down through here a couple months ago, did live off the floor. These animals, they did 13 songs in a couple of hours.
And they're great. They sound great.
They are really good. So the song we're going to play for you is called Robbed. They did it in Studio A here at the beach. You'll hear it at the end after I sign off. Peter, thank you again for showing up here. And I know it was a hard travel down here today.
Oh no, it's just a rough morning.
Right. Thank you guys so much for listening to the Sound House. On behalf of the beach, LMB Recordings, and myself, stay tuned for our next episode. Cheers.